Welcome to BitBoy Crypto.
We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird, how to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad. My name is Frankie Candles, and on this channel, we strive to help you find financial freedom through crypto assets. It is Friday at 11:31. We're pretty on time today, TJ.
Hey, not bad.
Not too bad for the first for my first little intro here on the BitBoy Crypto live stream. I hope everybody's having a great day. What do we got? 71 degrees in here. I know Ben likes to cover the temperature.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. Bitcoin, just fighting with 40K. Just the absolute battle to the death to hold this 40K level. We're going to take a look at the charts. We're going to do a quick market watch. I'm going to go over some market watch articles. Then we'll cover the charts, and then we'll have DZ hop on in here. All right, so let's go ahead and start on CoinMarketCap. Checking out the total market cap for crypto is
right there at the top.
Yeah, where'd it go? Oh, right.
Zoom in. You're using the, if you're not using the magic pad, it's probably hard to zoom, but
there
you
we
go.
Yeah. Okay. So total market cap coming in at 1.853 billion. I don't know. I'm not going to read that whole trillion. I'm sorry.
You're good.
But yeah, 1.85 trillion, and BTC dominance 40.9%, ETH 19.6%, 61 Gwei or Paraguay, as Ben likes to say, for a ETH transaction.
Yeah, and it looks like that 24-hour volume was hovering around 80 million yesterday, dropping a little bit. What do you think, volume-wise, how important is that? If you see volume falling, is that a concerning thing for you?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it less fun to trade. That's for sure. That's typically why I don't trade on the weekends. The volume's a little lower, so price action acts a little funky. So I don't trade as much on the weekends. But yeah, I mean, we want some volatility in the market because we want these big moves. Without the volume, we don't get these big spikes. If we want to come up, we need some institutional volume. You want to see those big green bars on TradingView come up. But yeah, typically, it'll make it a little more volatile. But me as a trader, that's what I need to make money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just down a little bit, not too bad here on the 24-hour volume. But coming on down to the prices, Bitcoin coming in at $39,948, just under that 40K level. We popped above it like 5 minutes ago, and now we're back below.
Yeah, I think is that
yeah, is this not?
Sometimes that doesn't update. Try to refresh.
There we go. 40,000. Yeah. I was gonna say we were like at 40,005 not too long ago. I was gonna say that seemed like we dropped pretty quickly here. But yeah,
let me see that volume number again. Let me see if that changed. Zoom in on that.
74.
So it's even lower.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is interesting because we did get I was watching ETH when it happened, but we did get a good little pop. So
yeah.
But yeah, $40,491, up 0.1% for the day. Ethereum coming in at $3,035, down 0.2% for the day. Not really much to look at there. Let's check out the top gainers. XRP up 7.5%. XRP Army, I know you guys are in the chat. So shout out to the XRP Army, up 7.5%. Not too bad. We got Audius up 6%, Dash up 5%, Stellar up 4%, and then Kusama up about 3%. Litecoin making moves too, 3.4%, almost 3.5%. Very, always good to see Litecoin making moves out here. Also, real quick, guys, I want to say thank you to everybody who subscribes to my YouTube channel. We just hit 10,000 subscribers. I appreciate all of you guys. Shout out to the Candle Mafia in chat. I see you guys there. Mark M. Yeah, love you guys. You guys are the best. Candle Mob, Quarter Crawler, what is going on? So thank you guys for 10K. And keep an eye out because we are putting out a how to make money when Bitcoin is going down, how to short Bitcoin video going up on Ben's channel. I will be in that video. Ben kind of intros it, and then I will be showing you guys how you can make money, even if Bitcoin's going down, right? Because that's exciting. You can make money when Bitcoin is crashing, just like you can make money when it's going up. So, if we do wind up going into a bear market, don't be scared. We could still make a lot of money. And if you are interested in that, learning more about that and how to trade crypto and make money whether the price is going up or down, definitely follow me, Frankie Candles on YouTube, or Frankie_Candles on all socials. But yeah, so let's see what we got. Let's just check real quick the biggest losers. We got Zilliqa coming in down 6.5% on the day. Compound, as you guys know, was running recently, so not too surprised to see Compound down about 5%.
Yeah, that's same for Zilliqa, Waves. Neo.
Yeah, these
They've
are all
kind of pumping.
It was all the ones that got listed on Robinhood, I think. A lot of them. But yeah, Waves down, about 4%. Near Protocol down about 4%, and then Luna down about 3.5%. So, all right, guys, let's move into these stories that we got. We got Bitcoin regains 40K as sentiment turns to extreme fear. Crypto markets continued a second day of slide on Friday as Bitcoin hovered above pivotal support at $40,000 in European hours. Bitcoin bounced to 40,100 early Friday after losing 2.9% on Thursday. Bitcoin is trading near the $40,000 support level, which runs through the lows of the first 3 months of the year. A formal signal to break the support will be considered a failure under the previous lows in the 38K area. The ability to develop a reversal to the offensive from these levels, on the contrary, will reinforce the importance of this moderate uptrend line. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index, a popular sentiment indicator that is hosted on the website alternative.me, suggests extreme fear among crypto investors on Friday with a reading of 22. That's down from last week's fear of 37. You guys know the Fear and Greed Index, looks something like this. So, I'm kind of torn here because I really, and we are going to jump into the charts, and I'll explain a little further why I feel the way I do. I feel bearish. I do see a lot of people, on YouTube and Twitter, like sentiment seems like it's starting to turn around. There is something on the chart I do want to talk about that could be some bullish hope. But I generally feel bearish just because of the weekly looks, but there is a little bit of conflicting information on the 2-week. And again, we will take a look at that. But I'm feeling bearish. A lot of the time frames are not looking great, but we're fighting 40. We keep breaking it, and then we keep popping back up. We were just below it, yesterday and earlier today. And I'm like, yeah, I really think we're bearish. I really think we're bearish. And then I'm sitting there and literally staring at the charts, and we pop right back over 40K. And I'm just like, this thing does not know what to do.
Let me ask you this. What do you think about, there's a lot of people that say, oh, now that everybody's feeling bearish and there's consistency across everybody being bearish, that kind of makes me bullish. Like, what do you put any stock in that at all?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. When everybody's screaming, it's going to zero, it's going down, it's going down. Typically, that's when you see things, flip the other way. That, they want to scare everybody, right? And all the retail traders, when fear is at extreme lows, right? When we're coming in at a 22 on the Fear and Greed Index, everybody's scared, and that's usually when we just flip around, and vice versa, right? When we're in extreme euphoria or extreme greed, everybody's saying, we're going to 200K, we're going to 100K, we're going to $1 million, whatever it is. That's typically when you see a dump. And, I was talking about this on my stream. One of the best indicators, if I had followed it, is when you have people, if you're the friend or, the family member in your group that is the crypto person, when you get people that you don't talk to often start texting you and say like, hey, is this a good time to buy? I see everything's going up. That's usually a top signal. And if I had listened to this, right around the top for Bitcoin is when I started getting these text messages. I see everything's going up. Should I buy in? Should I buy in? And I thought to myself, I'm like, ugh, this is probably a top signal. And it plays out almost every single time it happens. So if you have your old friends texting you that you don't talk to often, asking if they should buy crypto because they know you're into it, take that as a top signal, because if I traded based off this, I would have called the top almost perfectly.
Right.
So I definitely do put weight on that, especially when you see people, on. That's why I'm kind of nervous not nervous, but that's why I'm cautious right now. When you see everybody changing their sentiment to bullish, it's starting to creep in there. People are thinking we're hitting a bottom, which isn't impossible. But when you start seeing people feel bullish again, TJ, I know you can. You can relate to this in a bear market. A lot of the time, usually what happens is you dump and then you get a relief pump, and everyone's like, "That's it, the dump is over. We're going back to all-time highs." And then you get you come up to make a lower high, and then you just dump down again, and then it just happens over and over. Every time you get a pump, people are like, "We're going back to all-time highs." And you don't realize that you're in the bear market.
I was going to say, and that's literally the definition of a bear market, making lower highs and trending down over time, which is what it feels like right now. But let's get into the charts. Let's check it out.
Yeah, let's take a look here. So, or do you want to cover the second story yet?
No, just jump into the charts.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
So, all right. So we're going to start here on the Bitcoin weekly chart here. Now,
collapse down that side window there. Yeah, those. Favorites on Trading View.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Go away. There we go. All right. So we're here on the weekly, guys, and let me drag this up a little bit so you guys can see. Okay. Can they see that?
Yes. Okay.
So here on the weekly chart, I talk about this a lot, right? Because I think it is important. This is the bearish case, right? This is kind of where a lot of my bear sentiment comes from, and it's on the weekly chart. This circle right here. Now, this is kind of where I'm thinking we are, right? This is the 2018 bear market. And, I'm thinking maybe we're somewhere in here, or even maybe somewhere in here, where we're coming down, we're getting little bounces, people are getting excited, but we're just kind of continuing to come down. And, the money flow was about to cross over that zero line right about here. And then eventually, when we crossed over, we dropped down another 50%, touching that 200-day moving average. And, are you guys seeing similarities here? And this is, they're very, very similar looking, right? And, this is what's making money is coming out aggressively on the weekly. This is what these money flow index waves mean. It shows money flowing in and out of the asset. Obviously, money is aggressively flowing out, right? And then as we got that, relief pump, we did get support with the money flow wave on that zero line, came up a little bit, VWAP came back up, and now we have the money flow and the VWAP crossing over down below that zero line at the same exact time. And then as well as that blood diamond right here, just, reprinted. It's back on here, not confirmed just yet. We still have 2 days and 9 hours to print this candle and confirm it. But the blood diamond is back. So the only difference between this and the 2018 bear market, when the structure was very, very similar, almost exactly the same. The only difference is we have a blood diamond this time. So, definitely that's what's making me feel bearish. But let me show you guys something that I see a lot of people talking about, and that is a hidden bullish divergence on the 2-week, right? So with the hidden bullish divergences you'll see I have the RSI up here. And when you're making lower lows on the RSI while you're making higher lows on the price, as you can see here, you see price is coming up and making higher lows. And then you have the RSI here making lower lows, right? So this is a hidden bullish divergence. So I see a lot of people talking about this, and this is on the 2-week chart, right? So although the weekly does not look good, looking very similar to 2018 bear market, you have the 2-week kind of showing this hidden bullish divergence. So kind of mixed signals here. Also, something to note is you have this money flow on the 2-week doesn't look that bad. It is curving up, starting to flatten out here a little bit, but it is coming up as you have that hidden bullish divergence. You do have the VWAP crossing down below the zero line, printing that red dot, but money flow looks good. So I see where people are getting this bullish sentiment from. I mean, this does kind of look good on the 2-week, especially with the money flow coming up, even though the VWAP is coming down. But, this definitely has the power to bring us up a decent amount as long as that weekly doesn't play out. So we're kind of starting to get mixed signals here on the charts. But I did just want to point that out to you guys because I see people starting to talk about this, and it's definitely you don't want to totally disregard it. So definitely worth paying attention to. But let's just move down here to the lower time frames on the daily. Let me just zoom in here so it doesn't look as much like mush. And then let me just resize a little bit. Okay. So we're holding this trend line essentially, right? This upward trending line, this white line, we are holding it. We have not broken it yet. As you guys know, I covered this almost every day here on the stream, on Ben's stream in the morning. If we break that, we do have a golden pocket here at about 39K, right? Could see a bounce there. I think you will hold it at least somewhat. But, if you break that, some people, you could hold it here, this trend line that comes all the way down to the wicks. You could hold that. And if we can,
where do those wicks hit? Like 32-ish?
Yeah, like that. Well, if we come up to where we would hit it, it's like 32. I'm sorry, 37. 37.2, yeah. And obviously that price would get higher depending on how long we bounce around in here as the line is trending upwards. But again, you have money flow here on the daily. I mean, you're in the red. That's not a good thing. You know, you are curving up. You have the VWAP coming up, money flow coming up towards that zero line. But I'm just not feeling too good about this. I am thinking that, you know, if we do come back into the green, you'll probably just see something like this. You know, the red wave will come up, turn green, and then you'll kind of just roll right back over into the red. That's personally how I'm feeling, just based off of the weekly. But remember, keep that 2 week in mind with that hidden bullish divergence. Could be some moves coming in potentially from that. Like I said, some mixed signals on my stream. You know, usually, you know, we're pretty quick on analyzing the charts. We're able to see stuff pretty quickly. And I was saying yesterday, I mean, the past couple of days have been a little hard to read. There's a lot of mixed signals. But just really that weekly is just looming over with bearish energy. So
yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel too. Like Ben and I were talking yesterday, the macro overall is bearish, and it just reminds us, you know, of like exactly what you're saying. You get a relief pump, everybody's looking for a reason to be optimistic and bullish, and you are briefly, and then you make a lower high, and then you work your way back down. Ultimately, it feels like, you know, it's got an eye for 28.5 before we start moving back up, but it might settle in a lot of different places along the way. That's just how I feel today. Now, pump back up to 45 or 50, that might change my mind, but you know, I think we just saw a run at that, and we keep getting rejection at those certain levels, and if we don't have the volume to follow through, it just starts to feel again like a bear market.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do know a lot of people don't think we will go below 29K. When we come up towards 29K or down towards 29K, that's where you're really looking for those super, super strong bounces. If we don't hold that, probably not looking very good. Yeah. So, guys, I think that's all I got for you. We got DZ over here coming in from the left.
Coming in from the left.
That's all I got. Bing bong. Follow me, Frankie Candles on YouTube. Thank you guys. See you next time.
Breaking news. Yeah. And I'm DZ from Welcome to NFT Alpha Show. Wait, I'm sorry. This is Around the Blockchain. I'm your host. Wait, this is the morning stream. I forget. You know, I'm losing all track of time here. We actually do have some breaking news. Michael Barr, XRP. This just happened. You know, basically minutes ago. I think I'm misspelling Michael here, aren't I?
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not putting that up on the screen yet, so you're safe.
XRP Army, smash the like. Breaking news, XRP Army. Yep, this is it. I did spell it right. AEL. Just nope, I didn't. I knew it. Justin, President Biden has named former XRP advisor Michael Barr as vice chair for supervision of the Federal Reserve. This is big news. Is showing that maybe leaning towards a little bit more of a fintech, crypto-friendly regime change here.
Well,
right?
They keep hinting, and they've said over and over that they want the private sector to lead the charge when it comes to blockchain and tech and, you know, adoption. And here it is again. I mean, this is definitely high level games we see being played with donations to different political parties, and you know, they're screaming about all this SEC gate with what was going on with Ethereum, and we start to see how things really happen. But this is definitely big development.
Yeah, I was, you know, while Frank was up here, I was kind of, you know, looking at the story, reading some articles, and there's some people, you know, who like the status quo. They're the ones not happy with this. So what does that make me? That makes me a little more happy about it. That makes me a little more bullish on this. So
good point.
It's a good thing. I think this is going to be good. We will see in the long run how this turns out, but to me, seems like a good thing. So, all right, we got to do a little height adjustment on the camera. Let me move the mic up. Let me kick this phone book out of the way. No, Frank's tall. He's like, he's at least 5'11.9 inches there, I think. All right, let's move on. We got some stories here we're going to get into. That's big news for the XRP Army. So, XRP Army, hope you're feeling a little happy about that. So,
happy Friday.
Happy Friday. This is a good Friday if you're in the XRP Army. That's for sure. All right, so we covered the fear and greed. We covered the Bitcoin. We're going to get right into the SEC amendment here. And a proposal is deemed unconstitutional, advocacy group is saying. I like that graphic there. All right, so new rule proposed by the SEC to expand its definition of exchange will unfairly subject developers and publishers to basically register. And it violates the U.S. Constitution. Not just some piece of paper that Nicolas Cage is trying to find, okay? This is something, you know, I take seriously. Bill of Rights, I remember that cartoon, you know? It's just a bill on Capitol Hill.
Just sitting there.
You know, hanging out with the other politicians, drinking some swill. SEC proposed the rule last month is going to classify exchanges entities to bring buyers and sellers together and make available communication protocols. Look, just because, someone with wallet A and wallet B is communicating doesn't make it a communication protocol. What does that mean? Does that mean the crypto Reddit subreddit on Reddit is that an exchange? Oh, you got, I linked my Doge wallet or my, I forget what the Reddit wallet, they have some sort of thing where, you get upvoted, you get their coin. Does that make that an exchange? I mean, where do you define that? It's very, very vague. Hopefully this gets struck down. Rulemaking aims in part expand the definition of exchange into everything, including preschools. The way it does so, however, create an inappropriately broad standard for registration that would impose an unconstitutional prior restraint on the protected speech activities of countless software developers and technologists. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty clear. I mean, just because you're communicating, just because, you're doing X, Y, Z, doesn't mean you're an exchange. To me, an exchange is you link a wallet, you exchange crypto tokens, and then, you can pull the crypto off. That's an exchange. Right. I'm trying to say is anybody who's communicating, or what was the other inappropriately broad financial entities, you bring buyers and sellers together, what, like Facebook, a Facebook group, does that mean that's an exchange? So very, very broad.
And I would say this is typical of government too. You'll see they want to make very broad sweeping statements, and then they can go back and apply it in a lot of different ways later. And so like, oh, it was applied here this way, so it set precedent, and that's...
Yeah, and you see it, anybody with any kind of law experience, you see them doing any kind of testimony. A famous example, of course, would be Bill Clinton with the Monica Lewinsky scandal that happened, and his words were, "I did not have sexual relations." Well, that was then open for interpretation. Right. Then he then he said, well, that depends on what your definition of is. So now we're breaking down the word is.
Yeah, so, welcome to politics.
They have a field day with vocabulary, so they'll try to make it as vague as possible so they can weasel out of, any kind of corner that you try to paint them into. Slip through the cracks there. All right, more SEC news. They want better corporate disclosure about hacks. Oh, my Lord, is the SEC actually looking out for consumers? That would be a first. SEC has proposed a new cybersecurity risk management rules for corporations that would require them to be more transparent with customer disclosures. New rules would be implemented as amendments to various forms regarding cybersecurity disclosures and would specifically target investment advisors, investment funds, and business development companies. I would like to see that apply to anybody that has a data breach. Best Buy had a huge one. I think even Circuit City had a big one. Bed Bath Beyond. There's all time. I mean, you could just Google data breach.
Target had a huge one.
Target had a huge one. I remember that. So any of those, I mean, and oftentimes they'll say, yeah, this happened 6 months ago. Yeah, this happened, last year, even if it's something real serious. I don't think that's right personally. So, this is one time I'm on the same side as the SEC here. I think, disclosing hacks is a good thing because sometimes, oh, wait a minute, my password's out. I have a lot of stuff connected to a password perhaps. So it's good to, make this as transparent as possible. Now, obviously there are going to be issues, put it out tomorrow. Maybe that's a little bit hasty, but I think there should be some sort of guide for these companies to follow. Yeah. So no more hiding cybersecurity hacks. Former SEC Commissioner Jackson said the current disclosure requirements erred on the side of non-disclosure. There we go with that Weasley lawyer speak. Erred on the side of not telling people and often left investors in the dark when companies experience hacks or other cybersecurity attacks. Currently, company management is only required to keep boards informed about cybersecurity issues with no obligation to share them with investors or customers. Does that sound right to you folks? It doesn't sound right to me. Does it sound right to you, TJ?
No, it doesn't, and it is just ironic with the the way this XRP case is going with SEC, and it's all about disclosures and showing things and hiding things. And I agree, open and more disclosures is always best. Yeah. But it's just I find it a little bit ironic when they're grandstanding for openness and disclosures while also in a legal battle to not disclose as much as they can about what they were and weren't saying about SEC, different assets. It's
Raven Boy likes the hat. Yeah, make sure you check out defistore.com. And they're called moons on Reddit. Thank you very much, Chad. Always got the answers coming for us. All right, let's talk a little Yellen here. Is Yellen coming onto our side slowly but surely? It maybe seems that way. Nationwide safety. Yellen let slip her plan to regulate crypto as the value of Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Solana, Cardano, and Dogecoin sink. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen gave her first speech about crypto and the regulation, whereas her handle had a sudden pro-crypto undertone. Yellen is known for a far more durable regulatory stance. She's known for being tough. Shoppers need to be shielded from fraud, no matter whether or not property are saved on a steadiness sheet or a distributed ledger. Cash laundering and different illicit exercise needs to be deemed unlawful. It doesn't matter whether or not you are utilizing checks, wires, or cryptocurrency. She made a few refined remarks that will trace how regulators will information crypto coverage sooner or later. For a lot of the previous century, the dollar loved the advantages of being the world's reserve foreign currency. Yellen pressured that retaining this privilege needs to be regulators' precedence of their method to digital property. I think this is a pretty important question. She said retaining the dollar supremacy needs to be regulators' precedence of what they are considering when it comes to digital currencies. I think they know, and we've been saying it on this channel for years, essentially at this point. The way for the US dollar to keep its hegemony as the world's currency is going to go the digital route. It has to go a digital route. Whether or not, they team with USDC, whether or not, they issue their own, this is the only way it's going to work. Just trying to keep it as just the good old regular Swift banking system in the greenbacks. It's not going to work. So, hopefully this method will get us into the right path of, of course, this me. I'm a little biased. I live in America, but, that would keep it, remaining number one, essentially, here.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, supply and demand is always kind of what drives all markets. So they're trying to make sure, basically what they're saying indirectly is we need to make sure there's demand for the dollar. As long as there's enough demand for the dollar, we can keep printing and maintain this kind of global economic dominance that we've enjoyed for the last, while. And we think basically what they're doing with USDC, what we covered on the show yesterday with BlackRock, Circle, which is Goldman Sachs, putting hundreds of millions and billions of dollars into backing USDC. Now that BlackRock is the #1 cash reserve, that is what? Demand for the dollar. As long as more chains and more markets and more nations are using USDC to get in and out of currencies, now it's becoming the de facto global reserve digital currency, which is what they want, and then they can exchange that with central banks.
Yeah, and they have two main competitors, as the way I see it. It's Bitcoin and Chinese digital yuan there. So, it's going to be a battle within those three currencies, I believe. And, it's going to be an exciting, I would say this is a 5-year, 10-year, maybe even a 20-year battle. 20 seems a little long, but I see it being pretty interesting starting maybe even a year or two from now. I think that's when things will finally start getting heated up. But real quick on this, she instructed CBDCs might fulfill the necessity for digital foreign money, whereas retaining America's reserve foreign money privilege. She later made a specific comment that clarified her stance on the centralized versus centralized money debate. Sovereign cash is the core of a well-functioning monetary system. She wrote, not too long ago, 87 nations, which make up over 90% of the world's GDP, are contemplating launching their own digital currencies based on Atlantic Council. 14 are on a check run together with China, and 9 have already launched, with Nigeria introducing final. Some of those ones that have already launched is like Pacific Island nations. So we haven't really seen too many big countries step into the fray here. But when China does, that's going to be, the end game, essentially. So we haven't seen it too much. They're testing it. They tested it in Olympic Village. They're testing it in Beijing subways. But I feel when China rolls this out, it's going to be very sudden. It's going to be a quick rollout. One thing we saw with, just say, their hospital construction, a couple years ago, when they set their mind to do something, whether it's build a mega city that can hold 40 million, that only has 2 million residents, they can build that. They can build that mega city. They can build out that CBD structure. It will probably shock us how quickly and efficiently it does roll out nationwide, and that's how I see that playing out. I mean, I don't know, but their track record shows that when they set out to do something, they do it pretty efficiently.
Yeah, it's because they have such a huge population. It's almost, if you want to put it in tech terms, they have a huge user base to push the test across. They're almost kind of like the Facebook of government, more or less. When you have that many people trapped in your system. You just push out any update you want, and it's going to take.
And I don't want to sound too bullish on China, but their government is also a merit-based promotion system instead of America's popularity-based promotion system, where you get more popular, so you rise through the ranks of your political spectrum. Whereas China, you might be the water maintenance guy of a small town, and the next thing you know, you're the mayor of a town. Then the next thing you know, you're on like a township's council, governor. Next thing, so it's more of a merit based now. I know they have cronyism there, but it's largely not who can speak, on a televised debate better than the next guy. It's what's your accomplishments, what have you done, are the trains running on time, can the toilets flush, and everybody's drinking clean water. All right, we'll move you up. So I think a lot of that is just due to their system, essentially. All right, but let's talk a little, speaking of the rising sun, let's talk about Justin Sun trying to outbid Elon Musk's Twitter offer. Of course, he's trying to do it for $54.20 a share, about $43 billion in total, and it's attracted tremendous reaction on social media, on Twitter. Only hours after the news broke, Justin Sun, founder of Tron, made an offer of $60 per share, trying to outbid the Tesla CEO, claimed he would bring Twitter to a decentralized Web3 platform. Funny tweet on that. I think the funniest reply of Justin Sun's tweet was, "No one wants your poop coin," or something. I don't know. It was pretty funny. No one wants your magical pretend internet money for Twitter. I think it was Greg. The Greg with all the numbers.
That's a great account.
Great account. Always interacting with any like Elon tweet. So if you're not following Greg, follow Greg. FTX's CEO Sam Bankman-Fried also commented on Musk's tweet, explaining what a decentralized Twitter may look like, and adding that FTX would like to be a part of the project if there is sufficient demand for making Twitter on-chain. I read through his tweet storm, and it was largely a commercial for Solana. He's like, going over tweets per second and monetizing the tweets, and, if we charge people, I think it was 1/10 of a penny or 100th of a penny to make a tweet, and he's like, and we could do it on the Solana network. So I don't know. It was pretty funny. It was a nice little backdoor Solana advertisement, but don't get me wrong. Brilliant guy, great suggestions in there. But as I think it was like the 7th tweet, he slips in Solana. I was like, you sneaky little rascal, you. I see what you're doing.
I mean,
there.
kind of as he should, right? As a founder.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Hey, we always talk about fiduciary responsibility here. So I ain't knocking the hustle.
I'm sure Hoskinson would want, be throwing Cardano.
Yeah, Charles is furiously typing up his, no, this is why it needs to be Cardano.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a Lightning Network, Maxi, like, no, I ain't got the ultimate solution.
Right.
So.
But let me ask you this. I mean, obviously we both use Twitter a lot. What is your perspective? Extracting which chain and how it gets implemented and all that stuff out. What do you think of his breakdown? Does a Twitter that's designed like that sound appealing to you as a user?
I don't think it'll work because you're instantly going to alienate. I think he's kind of, we always talk about living in a bubble. He lives in a bubble of everybody kind of has some tech understanding.
Sure.
And, I don't think that's going to be the case. If you ask the percentage of Twitter users that has Solana, not just on an exchange, but like on a Solana wallet, I mean, we're talking definitely single digit, very, very low amount.
Yeah. I'm saying remove, don't forget if it's Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, but if they were to put it on a chain at some point, does a incentivized microtransaction Twitter, does that sound like something you would want to use? Or do you think so many people, it's like, if it costs me anything, I'm out?
No, I think it'd come down to, is it monetized for the creators? If I'm able to make a real funny viral tweet and all of a sudden, I wake up the next day and it could be a small amount. It would still make me excited. If I saw, that tweet made me 27 cents, I think I'd be a little more incentivized to tweet.
Yeah.
If it was something like TikTok where, I had the #1 Magic the Gathering TikTok. Ooh, look at me. I'm so cool. And my TikTok revenue was just laughable. I had some, 500,000 views, 100,000 views, nothing under 10,000 views, and making like $4 a month or something. It was just utterly ridiculous. So if it's not just a total insult, I think, you'll get people excited. If, even if you operate at a loss, kind of do what they do with grocery stores, like a loss leader, you operate at a loss or, net zero profit, and then get everybody, happy, and then rug pull everybody 6 months later, like most tech companies. Go ahead and get us stuck in the ecosystem. Get us hitting that, that button for that cheese or button for that little droplet of water, and train us Pavlovian responses for 6 months. and then I'll probably already be stuck in it. You know, by then I'll be like, you know, hitting the button for the cheese and knowing I'm hitting the button for the cheese and knowing that cheese is getting smaller. But you know what? I'm probably gonna.
You still want the cheese.
I still
right?
want the cheese.
Yeah.
You know, we're just sensory beings. You put in input, we give out output. That's all we are. Let's not get too complicated here.
Yeah.
You know?
I tend to think it will it's going to take some time, a few iterations, a few tests, but I think over the next 5 years or so, we start to see platforms that do exactly what you were just talking about and incentivize creators and users much more equitably than they do now.
Yeah, Twitter would crash to 0 the second Justin bought it. 0's a little bit low. I think the shareholders be happy that they got paid $60 a share.
Yeah. Wait, yeah. What did it say? What he offered? Is that what it was? 60.
Yeah, it
a
was
share?
60. Yeah, he was 60. So slightly with $5.80 more than
That's pretty
Elon's. But
substantial.
I don't know if he has the proof of funds quite like, you know, good.
Yeah, that the audit would get very interesting.
You
with
can sell that
Justin
first
Sun.
billion of Tron. Well,
Yeah.
he sold all this Tron. Never mind. He
Yeah.
sold all this Tron.
That's the question. Where is it? Where's all his wealth?
All right. You know, still staying on Twitter here. Elon Musk no longer the largest Twitter shareholder, but there is a backup plan.
Oh.
Vanguard Group's shareholding now exceed Musk's. When I looked at this last night or this morning, I think it's pretty close. It's like 10 point something. So SEC filings show Vanguard has surpassed Musk by increasing its stake in the company. As of the 8th, they now own 10.3% of the company compared to Musk's estate of 9.2%. So real close there.
Yeah, were you in here the other day when we were talking about all this when it comes to Vanguard, BlackRock being, because they're large shareholders in both Twitter, they're also the largest shareholders of Tesla.
Yeah.
So they're more or less not his boss, but you know, they have more shares in Tesla than he does. They have more now shares in Twitter than he does. And Ben floated an interesting theory that like, hey, what if they just increase their share, make this offer that's based on kind of like it's really not even above the annual high for where Twitter was this year. Create a bidding war between all these different tech CEOs of people that could see an easy way to monetize Twitter, even if they don't buy it. Vanguard, BlackRock, Elon Musk all get substantially richer without even actually having to make the purchase and take it private.
Yeah, I think it's funny because the SEC came after him for, you know, tweeting about taking Tesla private. And now, you know, he's essentially doing the same thing, you know. I think it's a little bit of a stick and a finger in the SEC's eye. I feel like there's so many moving parts and it's such a momentum of events here. I don't think it's just for trolling. I don't think it's just to, you know, give a finger, the pinky finger to the SEC. I don't think it's that. But I think that factors into his decision because he says, you know, he likes to change the world for the better. And whatever when he's doing, he wants to. I think it wants it to be fun. Right. And I think there's some third thing that he always uses as a criteria for his moves. And so I think this fits right into, you know, haha, this is pretty funny. Yeah. And now I kind of want to do it. I mean, look at the shape of his rocket. That's, you know, that's all I'm going to say. The engineers were like, we shouldn't do this. He's like, no, you're going to do it.
Figure out a way to make it work.
Figure out a way to make it work. And you're like, we're talking about rockets trying to, you know, we're trying to go to Mars here. Are you sure this is the time and the place to, I'm trying to be careful with my words here, but to make the tip of the rocket that way, you know, are you sure I'm Elon Musk. I'm going to do what I want. So
I think it's a pretty genius way to generate wealth because if you own Tesla and you own Twitter, it's a win-win because you're getting insane marketing and exposure through this in a big, big way.
God, am I going to market buy some Doge now?
Oh, gosh.
Ugh, I don't want to. All right. So this disclosure came out when talking about Vanguard owning more than anybody when it comes to Twitter. The disclosure comes as Musk's failure to reveal his holdings in Twitter have attracted a class action lawsuit by the company shareholders. Shareholders said Musk, the CEO of Tesla, made materially false and misleading statements and omissions by failing to reveal he had invested in Twitter by the 24th as required under federal law. Essentially, he was supposed to tell everybody when he had 5%. He waited till it was 9.1 or 9.3. Then Saudi's Prince Al-Walid bin Talal added his own views yesterday, tweeting, I don't believe that the proposed offer by Elon Musk comes close to the intrinsic value of Twitter, given its growth prospects. Prince now holds a 4.4 stake in Twitter. But I saw a tweet today, and they were saying, no, he already sold his shares. Then other people were saying, Well, it's quite possible that, maybe Vanguard, then took over his shares, or maybe, a BlackRock or some sort of investment company. But you can see the year breakdown of, the Prince's shares, and he sold them, I think, about 2-3 years ago. So I don't know if, there's still the fog of war when it comes to what the Prince owns. But Elon essentially trolled the Prince. I don't know if they have the tweet here, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I saw this.
Just two
tweet.
questions, if I may. So this is in response to the Saudi Kingdom's tweet saying, hey, we own a bunch of Twitter. We don't like the direction. Essentially, you're not giving us enough money. Elon replied, just two questions, if I may. How much of Twitter does the kingdom own, directly and indirectly? And what are your views on journalistic freedom of speech? Of course, Kawagi, Chicago. I can't remember that, but, there's the big hoopla 2-3 years ago with the journalists that, the Saudis were allegedly, snuffed out in a different embassy. And I mean, the evidence is pretty damning. Washington Post covered it. Again, it's not like I know the facts here, but it's being reported, it was, I believe it was a Saudi royal family that hacked Jeff Bezos's phone. And so these people, they don't like, certain information getting out there. I think that's a pretty accurate statement to make. I don't think I'm saying anything too outlandish with that. So it's interesting to see this, a little bit of a battle here, because we got the little battle between Bezos and Musk. Now we got these battles with the Saudi kingdom. So it's a lot of big players out there making a lot of big moves behind the scenes that, you got to, a lot of stuff like this, you got to read between the lines and, put some pieces together in your own mind.
That's what I was going to say. I like to, with stuff like this, just zoom out, keep it simple, and just, it becomes interesting when you look at who's on each side of this debate, right? Like nations aside, politics aside, when you just look at people coming out in favor of it, people coming out against it, it's like, this is some very interesting people that seem to have a very strong interest in what may or may not happen here. So just always good to keep that in mind. But speaking of hacks and hackers, what do we got?
Yeah, we got a U.S. Treasury and Chainalysis unmask the $600 million Ronin Hackers. Of course, this was, right up there with the most, lucrative heist in the history of mankind. Lazarus is the
like a month or so ago, right?
It was just about a month, maybe, right about a month. So Lazarus, the North Korean-based cybercrime and anonymous hacker organization, has been linked to the biggest exploit in DeFi history, the 600 million hack, of course, on the Axie Infinity ecosystem. Chainalysis have published reports saying that the notorious group is linked with the attack. Following the news, crypto proponents surmise that the chances of recovery are slim and that the funds could be lost forever. It was reported that unknown hackers leveraged stolen validator keys to trigger a false deposit and withdrawal event on Ronin. This was the protocol operated by Sky Mavis and NFT gamer company Axie Infinity. Drained the bridge of a whole bunch of Ether, a little bit of USDC, over $600 million worth. Funds have been moved around several times through the mixer solution known as Tornado Cash. Mixers are used to obscure the source of funds, basically hide where the crypto comes from, put it in, and then, comes out, supposedly tries to hide. But, I've seen it time and time again. People have testified, the Chainalysis people have testified to Congress. It's not a group you want to lie to. This is, you're probably telling the truth. And when it gets to high amounts, it's very easily tracked, they say. You can hide an Ether worth. But when you're talking about, $100 million worth, $6 million worth, $1 million worth, it's a lot easier to, track where everything is going. What's $1 million in Ether? Let's see, 3 of them's, or 10 of them's about 30,000, 30 of them, 300, looking around roughly 300 Ether, maybe actually even more because we're below 3,300. So yeah, once you start getting into the hundreds or the thousands of Ether, yeah, it's not easily hidden. So yeah, I mean, they're saying it's, the North Korean hacker group. They went on to highlight that the address in question received the exact amount of digital assets declared missing. I mean, yeah, that's easy to tell. So again, when it comes to these high amounts, it's easy to tell. Remains unclear if the chances remain for recovery of the stolen funds. Some voices in the crypto space claim that the assets taken by Lazarus Group are not easy to recover. Attribution to the Ronin hack to Lazarus Group underlines 2 industry needs. Chainalysis has previously highlighted understanding how these threats actors exploit crypto and better security for DeFi protocols. I see a lot of people saying in the long run, this is a good thing for crypto. It's going to make bridges a little more secure. It's going to make people look at their code a little more closely. You know, I mean, $600 million is a whole lot of money. I know Axie Infinity is working with investors to try to, you know, reimburse anybody who might be affected by this exploit. But once again, $600 million is a lot of money. So, you know, we're going to see.
And one thing I want to point out and help people keep in mind, obviously you hear about this a lot when it comes to bridges, which is things that are used to move assets from chain to chain. So if you hear somebody say Bitcoin got hacked for $600 million, that's not true. Ethereum, the chain Ethereum didn't get hacked.
I forget that.
Yeah, because a lot of people hear $600 million crypto hack and they'll say Bitcoin got hacked, but that's not actually the case. That's why we're referring to the Ronin bridge between Axie Infinity, a game that had a lot of volume, and then some, you know, like a DeFi protocol. So that's why they're referencing better security through those protocols, which I do think will happen over time. And I also wanted to point out, like you mentioned, it's easy to track the funds and follow them around everywhere they go after a big heist like that. But what they were saying there is it's very hard to actually recover them and get them back. So I think we're a little ways away from that. But yeah, it's very interesting to watch as this is crypto growing pains right here.
Yeah, definitely some growing pains. And yeah, I forget, you know, talking about getting in the bubble, you know, you hear people say, oh, Ethereum got hacked. Like, no, it didn't. And, you know, for the maxis of whatever the chain is, you know, fill in the blank. Well, we haven't had a hack. One thing Richard Hart said, you know, he was asked, well, you know, Pulse Chain, you know, how are you going to be protected by hacks? He said, oh, there's going to be tons of hacks. There's going to be tons of scam contracts. Like anytime something is cheap to make or the money is worth it, there's going to be scams. There's going to be hacks. You know, someone's going to, you know, write some bad code, or someone's going to leave a loophole, or someone's going to be on the inside of the person writing code. So you're going to see it as these chains get more lucrative and more valuable. You know, you're going to see some serious action. But I don't know if Cardano's had a hack, you know, but as this Milkamita and, you know, these Sunday Swap, probably a matter of time. Sorry. Look, I love Cardano. I'm not trying to attack Cardano. You know, Charles, you want to come on the show, explain how wrong I'm in? You know, come on. We'd love to have you on again, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, it just happens. It's part of crypto. ETH has so much money involved. You know, it's an attack vector for sure. And, you know, Bitcoin, oh, you got to worry about Bitcoin being hacked. Okay, well, someone just made $800 billion. So, you know, I don't know what the current market cap is, but it's you know, made almost $1 trillion. So, you know, there's people are trying, trust me. If it was so easily hacked, it would have been done by now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And plus they're known as being like one of the top hacker groups in the world. You know, as far as that's the narrative I've been told for the past 5 years, you know, so the Lazarus group, that is. All right, well, let's move on to a little Jack Dorsey tweet action. I remember when he sold that tweet. That was peak NFT mania at the time. It was right after the Beeple, or right around the Beeple sale. I think it was after. The first ever tweet bought as an NFT by the crypto entrepreneur Sina Estavi for $2.9 million last year. In 2022, he aims to get the NFT sold at $50 million or more. But as of now, the highest bid he has is $11,000. The tweet was just Jack saying, just setting up my Twitter. The first post ever launched in 2006, and it was auctioned off last year for Dorsey for charity. You know, that's one thing. You know, maybe it was because it was charity, the price got so high. But the Malaysia-born entrepreneur Sina Estavi previously bought it for 1630 ETH. Woohoo! Equivalent to 2.9 million at the time through an auction. He had compared the tweet. He compared the tweet to Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa.
Wow.
Put the NFT back on sale in March this year. Little bit of a stretch. The founder of the blockchain company Bridge Oracle offered to donate 50% of the proceeds, which he estimated as 25 million or more, to the U.S. charity Give Directly. Later, responding to Dorsey's challenge of why he wouldn't donate 99% of the money generated from the NFT auction, said he appreciated the idea, but he would like to use the money to help his blockchain projects and his people. Bridge Oracle has drawn some controversy lately as the founder has been accused by retail investors of committing scams and fraud. You know what they say, if you don't like the conversation, you change the subject. And I don't know if that's the case of this right here. Is this it?
Yeah.
Just setting up my Twitter.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
like,
$50 million. People,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think so.
I remember when that went on sale, like you mentioned, and thinking like, man, that's a lot of money to pay for something like that. And there was people arguing, oh, that's a part of internet history. That'll be
Mhm.
one of the greatest. That'll go down forever. What's you obviously spent a lot of time in NFTs, collecting all that kind of stuff. What do you think about stuff like that?
It's like that art when you get away from paintings, not so much a classic sculpture, but when you see some weird thing and it's like some metal in the shape of a compass, and there's bird feathers coming out of the side, and there's a
Modern art.
balloon, and
Yeah.
you know what it's called? Childhood. And you're like, that's worth 10 million. So it gets into that weird microcosm of like 12 people, like
Right.
just all outbidding each other, and it looks like the 12 people left the room. And like he's alone at the party, like, who wants to tweet? Who wants to tweet? The party's over.
Yeah.
They left the room, and that's kind of the vibe I get with that.
Yeah, I
Are
tend
you
to
gonna
agree.
get some of that exotic art?
Me?
Yeah, you're gonna get some.
Not like that.
Are you gonna get your own version of the Bitcoin bull?
I did like that bull. I thought that was pretty cool. But see, that's just cool art, like that's not. I wouldn't be hanging up a Jack Dorsey tweet as an NFT and saying like, look at my,
No. Yeah,
So-
it's there's like 10 tech bros probably thought it was cool back then. I'm sure that were willing to spend more than $1 million, right? There's probably 10 people, maybe 4 people willing to spend more than $1 million. They outbid amongst themselves, and then the other 11, the other 3, the other people like, oh my God, I almost bought that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
it's all
Woo!
a big hustle, and then you don't want to be the guy who actually wins the auction.
Yeah, he was playing musical chairs. The music has stopped.
Yeah.
The
Oh
music-
crap! Now I
Yeah.
own this thing.
God, you know how many Bored Apes I could have bought back then?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I can
That's
think of
what
a
he's thinking.
lot of good things to do with 1,600 ETH. Like,
That's that's
golly.
just thinking of this actually. That's a good point too. Is now utility of NFTs are a lot more than it was a year ago when he
Yep.
it was roughly around when he bought this. So back then, NFTs weren't dropping coins, weren't dropping merch. I bought the Bored Ape toy yesterday. Everybody was complaining. I only have a mutant. I don't have a board, but the Bored Ape people, they're complaining like, why am I linking this wallet with a $400,000 asset to buy
Right.
a $200 action figure?
Yep.
And you know what? I did it with my mutant. I'm a degen.
Yeah.
You know what? They're instantly like 3x'd on eBay.
I was gonna say if you want to really be a degen, you can't ask too many questions. You just got to do stuff and hope for the best.
Cross your fingers, and but don't click the link, people.
Yeah,
Don't click
don't.
the link. Don't check that email. There's certain things you can do to just you have to have some OPSEC, but you don't got to be Will Smith's buddy in what was it, Enemy of the State. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't got to be like Gene Hackman in Enemy of the State with foil on your walls. And,
You do want to know one of those guys. Always helps to know.
yeah, you want to have one of those guys on the phone you can call and be like, hey,
Yeah.
man, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
But if you ever see the picture of the Pirate Bay founder, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's, and I say that as a compliment. I say
Right.
that as a compliment. We
Yeah.
love the basement here. We love the basement. All right, let's move on. Talking about Cardano. Cardano founder wants to build decentralized Twitter
there
with
it is.
Elon Musk.
Foreshadowing. We called it at the top of the show.
Charles
Wow.
was, typing like, you know what?
It
I'm
was.
in on this.
We
dude.
knew it.
All right. I honestly haven't seen the story. I was just guessing, playing around. Chucky has proposed creating a new decentralized social media platform from scratch together with Elon in case the centibillionaire's audacious attempt to take over Twitter fails. He's going to be the first trillionaire. And God, the people, the eat the rich people are going to have a field day.
Mhm.
Douglas Horn, chief architect of the Telos blockchain, facetiously predicted that the project would be delivered by 2035. Another Twitter user joked that's A+. That was
Yeah.
an A+ tweet there. Another Twitter user joked that the platform would only be able to send 10 messages a minute,
That's the big
alluding to various tech issues
That's a
plaguing
big claim.
Cardano-based applications. This is good stuff. As reported by You Today, Musk made an offer to pay $41 billion to take it private. Of course, we already covered that. Prior, he already has that 9.2% stake in the company.
Wait.
The idea that the world's richest person who has used Twitter to publicly troll. Tell me you're leaning a certain way with the article without telling me you're leaning a certain
Yeah.
way. He has used Twitter to publicly troll, harass, and intimidate people. could become the owner of the highly influential social media platform, expectedly caused a lot of controversy. Dogecoin co-founder Jackson Palmer criticized Musk for attempting a hostile takeover of Twitter. Critics argue that the mogul is far from being a free speech messiah, and his real motive is to get back at the U.S. SEC. Part of the settlement with the regulator, Musk's tweet have to be pre-approved before publishing. Billionaire is now trying to get rid of his Twitter sitter. Musk is not sure whether or not he'll succeed in taking over, but claims he has a plan B. The Saudi prince, a key Twitter shareholder, allegedly has shot down Musk's offer. Company board is also reported not willing to accept it. I've heard all types of rumors. I've heard they're planning a poison pill, which is a corporate term where you basically try to nuke your own company to prevent somebody from wanting to buy it, which, if they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, it's a little, doesn't make much sense. The only criticism I've seen when it comes to Elon Musk and Twitter saying he's not for free speech is he blocked the guy tracking his plane. He tried to say, hey man, I'll give you money if you quit doing it. The guy said, no, I'm gonna keep doing it. We blocked him. Does that mean he's anti-free speech? No, I think it means he wants to clean up his Twitter. I think he wants to clean up his feed.
You can be pro-privacy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. It's
if I had an airplane was flying around, I wouldn't want somebody tracking everywhere I was going.
Here's a good analogy. Earplugs aren't anti-free speech.
Right. There you go.
Enough said. All right.
Boom.
Moving on.
Mic drop.
Mic drop there. Cardano price risks a 30% drop. You know what we said about when you don't like the conversation, you change the subject here.
Yeah.
Price risk a 30% drop in Q2 despite a major hard fork ahead. Somewhere BJ's tapping his foot oh, I can't wait. The price risk undergoing a severe correction in the next few months despite touting its blockchain networks bolstering growth and a major hard fork event in June. Makes up about 1.75% of the total crypto market capitalization. I did not know that statistic. I would have guessed at least 3. No, 3's a little high. I guess that sounds right, I guess, if you really think about it. But on surface, does that seem low to you or high?
It sounds about right. I mean, I think people just underestimate how much is Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? I mean,
60%?
Yeah,
almost.
exactly.
Or right at. It's always around, for the past year, it's been around 60%.
Yeah, approximately. So, and then pretty much everything. And then there's a huge.
And then there's stable coins.
Yeah, then stable coins. And then there's a massive fall off from market cap when you get from Ethereum down to these other ones. And basically,
and people underestimate BNB. Right. They kind of throw Cardano, Solana, and XRP in the same conversation. Now, BNB is a lot bigger than those.
Yeah,
so
they're at 2 or 3%.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the top 10 gets a couple percents, and then you get the other 1,000 or so fighting that last percent.
And then the other 10,000 fighting for the crumbs. Hey, we'll get there to dollar coin soon. Don't worry about how many zeros we have. The channel showed further strength as ADA broke above its upper trend line here. You can see the trend line here. Touches here, touches here, touches here. Blast through, tests, goes below. Romp, romp, romp.
Yeah.
200-day exponential moving average alongside the fib level of the retracement graph, drawn from a 296 swing high to a 78 cent swing low, further aided the bearish bias. If the descending channel setup continues panning out, the ADA USD could fall to its previous bottom range of 78 cents while eyeing the channel's lower trend line above or around 65 cents as its primary downside target. You know what? I'm a lot more bullish on Cardano than I was in the past. If I see it going that low, I'm probably going to want to buy some. IOHK also appears to be readying the Vassal hard fork. Or is it like Basil? Is it
Vaseline?
Basil? Basil. Is it Vasil?
Yeah.
Vasil. I'm going to say Vasil. I know it's Vassal. I've heard Vassal. But the Vasil hard fork, a network upgrade to make Cardano's blockchain more scalable, sometime in June, just a couple months away. Chucky stressed the word major 5 times when describing the fork's importance to the overall network growth in a video released on the 12th, a day after it crashed 10%. Notably, like Bitcoin, ADA's correlation with the NASDAQ 100 rose to a record level, hitting 0.97 versus 0.79 at the beginning of the year. It's currently in lockstep with the tech-heavy index, which has erased more than $1 trillion from its market cap. And I hear a lot of traders say that, it's the that tech index on NASDAQ, very closely correlates with the crypto markets. I think it's it's a similar field. I know it's much, much different. You can make arguments how different it is, but to me, in the mind of a Wall Street guy, got $100 million trying to park it, I think to him, it's, it's similar. I don't think they look at Bitcoin and Alphabet stock, too dissimilarly. I think, you can lump it, it's a lot different. They're a lot closer than Amazon is compared to Firestone tires, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. Main thing when you're talking about levels of that size is that's why regulatory clarity is so important. That's why those guys won't move on anything other than Bitcoin and Ethereum for the most part right now, unless it's small levels and back channels and that sort of stuff. Like major regulated companies need to know they're not going to get in legal trouble.
Yeah, and then that's why they have 60% of the market cap. Enough of this BS. We're here for XRP. The XRP army is, they're out here today. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. And while you're at it, after the video, if you want to go to channels, Meta Money, Frankie Candles, and that little show called NFT Alpha. So, check it out.
All right, that X up.
All right, XRP. You happy? XRP. 2.4 billion inflows, XRP market cap in a day, almost wiping away all the April losses here. Look at that nice little graphic. Wait a minute, I didn't know it was physical. XRP is currently up 7.8% in the last 24 hours, trading around 78 cents at the time of publication. This is according to CoinMarketCap. In just a day, it has seen an inflow of $2.5 billion, climbing up from basically 35 billion to 37.5 billion in the last 24 hours, meaning that it's wiped away almost all of the losses over the past half month. Notably, on the 11th, the market cap was as low as 33. Now we're above, 37. That's looking pretty good. So it has separated itself from the current market price dip or DPI. Typically, altcoins respond to changes in the price of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has fallen by around 2% in the previous 24 hours. I would amend that. Typically, altcoins respond to changes in the price of Bitcoin with an accelerated response. So if Bitcoin goes down 2%, alts will oftentimes fall, double that 4% or 1.5 times that 3%. So seeing it, go, in the opposite direction so strong is quite bullish. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse said that the court battle with the United States SEC was going exceedingly well. It's funny with this price. We just broke price at the beginning of this. What was happening? A former XRP person, getting in a high position in the Biden administration. Were these investors biding their time until the coin was going to go up? I don't know. Maybe a little something there. Maybe a little some of that inside beltway action happening. You gotta love it. Congress people, the people in the beltway, they're such good traders. I can't. It's just amazing how good they are.
It is.
All right, I'm talking to you, Dan Crenshaw. I'm talking to you, Nancy. All right, according to Mr. Garlinghouse, the commission's investigation in their case is approaching a conclusion. Ooh, you know what? Has he said that before?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I almost want to look into that. Like, he's saying that's kind of language saying to me that says 3 months or less. Now, maybe it goes another 15 years. I don't know, but to me that says 3 months or less. Because the matter has been dragged out for more than 15 months, he feels that the court system is far slower than it should be. He argued that this action is crucial, not just for Ripple, but for all of crypto. I would agree. District Judge Torres in the Ripple case denied the SEC's motion for reconsideration of the deliberate process privilege concerning the Hinman emails and granting clarification on the matter, something that the defense attorney has called a very big win for Ripple. So also a big win for crypto. So this is looking good. This appears we're getting, maybe we could see the finish line. Maybe there's one more hill. I don't think there's that many hills, though. I think we're approaching this end date. And once that happens, if it's bullish, I think a lot of money is going to come in. I think a lot of people are going to open longs. I think, maybe it's going to be a huge correction 48 hours later, 72 hours later, 24 hours later. But I think once that breaks, we're all going to say, what the heck's happening with Bitcoin's price? What's this God candle? And we're going to be like, oh my God, XRP. We're going to be having balloons. We're going to be throwing confetti. We're going to be eating cake, pizza party. I mean, should we go ahead and start planning that? Should we get some of the people here like, let's have a contingency plan for when this happens.
Plan a huge party for after the
huge party, Lambos for every employee. Like something like that.
Something like that.
You nodded. He nodded. Was he in the corner? Oh, he hit his face, but he was nodding in the corner. Clip that.
Yeah.
All right. We got a little Q&A here.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any quick hits, but I definitely had some Q&A. So we'll just jump right into that.
All right.
Quick question. B equals cup was saying DZ sounds like he's going to be deep in XRP NFTs here soon. Any truth to that?
We are kind of waiting for closer to the upgrade right now. The tech isn't there. From my understanding, one of the main hindrances is the way the contract's built out. To do an NFT on XRP, you can't do royalty for NFT projects. So it's going to prevent a lot of strong teams from building on the network, because part of what makes an NFT successful is you get to reinvest your secondary sale royalty. So you say you sell something for $100, oftentimes you'll get $2.50 from that, or maybe you're splitting $5 with the marketplace, or you're splitting the $2-3 with the marketplace, and then you use that to build. You use that to make a partnership, use that to make a video game, use that to upgrade the website. So until they get that in, there's not going to be that many people jumping in on it. I don't think it's going to evolve too much over the next month. So I'm waiting a few weeks, and then I'm diving in that pool. Don't you worry.
You were kind of touching on this just a second ago, but from Rob Father, if XRP lawsuit ends and XRP pumps, will it? I think he means pull like BTC and move everything up.
I think it will. I think it's such a not meme. It's such an important case for crypto. A win for XRP is a win for Bitcoin. It is a win for Ethereum. Even though they're not registered as securities, it's still a win for the broader crypto market. And so yeah, I think a huge injection. Now, do I think it's going to be more people spot buying, parking fiat forever into Bitcoin and Ethereum? I think it's going to be more just people opening longs, and hopefully people do some of those crypto, like 3-month longs, 9-month longs.
Yeah,
let's start a whole new bull market. You know what I'm saying?
So you think it'll flip the overall sentiment bullish? Basically, just now there's regulatory clarity across the board. Everybody's going to be jumping in, and then the whole market gets going again.
Well, the whole market get going, then you're going to have all the bears. Like, look at all these idiots falling for the scam pump. And you know what? Like, I think I guarantee it'll be a short-lived pump. I don't know if it'll do something like, wow, those next 3 months, those next 9 months were fantastic for the crypto market. I think it'll be more like those next 3 days, maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think it'll be a short-term pump. I don't know if it'll be enough to get us to new all-time highs again, and really, get, depending, it's all going to depend on how low we go before it hits and all that sort of stuff. But I tend to think it'll be a good rally, like maybe we talked about with Frank at the top, where you get a rally, you get something big like this, and it feels like you're going back to all-time highs, but it's still lower high, slowly but surely working your way down. But it's going to be interesting to see how it all affects.
God, why does everyone think I'm baked? This is how my eyes look. All right, look, I was in Miami. All right, one, I wouldn't be speaking this clearly or being able to read. I'd be like,
people do
look,
that.
I rub a whole, look, Miami, I got a little roasted.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of peeling going on. I got a little bit of dry skin, like I almost want to show you, but you didn't earn the hat reveal today.
Yeah.
A little peeling. So like I'm extra coconut oil. This is the DZ skincare routine reveal here. After a shower, I put coconut oil on my face. So I've been going a little heavy.
Yeah.
So I get a little oil in my eyes.
Hey, you look great.
Stings a little.
You look good.
I
get the same thing. When I used to do it, they would always say I was blazed every episode of Around the Blockchain, every single time. And I was like, no, guys, I'm just trying to.
Well, for your case, you're getting out of the gym. You get sweat in the eyes.
Exactly.
But I mean, I don't.
It happens.
Like, yeah, I'm squatting hundreds of pounds. I'm not hitting the bong. Like,
right.
Those two things don't.
I'm literally coming straight from the gym back here to do that when I was doing that at the time. But all right, let's get back. One more question. This would be I'm kind of curious about this too. What's your favorite or one of the most interesting creative uses of utility you've seen in NFTs so far? Or follow up, what would you like to see in the future? Maybe anything.
You know what? Creative. This is obviously me being biased, but I think what we did with Pluto Alliance and the AdSense revenue is unlike anything you've seen. And I know you're pushing Pluto. Well, that's because what we did is super cool. And what we're doing behind the scenes is super cool. We got this whole staking thing where we're going to be rewarding the active members of our community, not people who just bought it 6 months ago, forgot about it. They're not really, they don't really care about the ecosystem. So we want to reward the people who do care. And so you're going to get, a larger portion of the pie when it comes to this AdSense revenue. I think that's really huge. But now I haven't been yet, but I think VCon is going to blow everyone away. I don't see Gary V doing a crappy job with that. I think it's going to be one of the best crypto conferences, maybe ever. Partly because, it's going to be somewhat limited availability for tickets. It's that first Genesis drop was 10,555 or something like that. So I think it's going to be totally awesome. I think, you know, and it's a ticket for at least 3 years. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty tough to beat. You know, you get to go to a super cool conference. As far as I know, I think like Steve Aoki, maybe Snoop. I have to recheck the VCon guest list, but I think that's super cool. Like a really, really cool thing. Man, imagine if we did that too, man.
Steve Aoki gets around, man.
I mean,
He's
always out
everywhere. Every time I mean, he must like crypto stuff because he seems to be at a lot of crypto events.
Yeah, he's like an NFT whale. Like, you know, he buys a
makes
project, it will go up. You know, like you'll, oh my God, Steve Aoki just bought one. You know, and you know because of that, like, hey, he has a Degens tune. I fell for the scam. I fell for the pump. I like that project. I don't want to say anything bad, but like it flashed all the way up to 1. I'm like, 0.9. Oh, it goes up to 1. We're rich. And then I wrote it all the way down back to a half ETH.
It's really like his assistant just, you know, scrolling around on OpenSea like, this looks fun. And
yeah, so yeah, there's certain people watch their wallets.
Yeah,
so
I bet.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be the V1s. And, you know, I think the V2 Cruise with DZ is going to be maybe the best utility ever given NFT project ever. Justin Williams is pushing for us to have a group cabin. That's not. I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
A cabin on a cruise?
He's like, yeah, you gotta share a cabin with DZ.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. We're all gonna be in the same room. But that is all we got time for today. You know, Ben will be back on Monday.
Yep.
Jay James will be hosting ATB next Friday. I'll be hosting this evening, and
you'll be back, I think, on Tuesday. Just so you know. Yeah.
Have a good weekend. Happy Friday. You know, go find those eggs. You know, if you're too old, don't go hunting. You know, I don't want to see anyone knocking. I don't want to see those videos again on Twitter. We see it every year. There's going to be some 13-year-old or 15-year-old or a mom trying to help their child win, knocking over little ones. Don't be that person. Easter's, you know, let's resurrect the good vibes. And with that, easy out.